It's finally time to glue the back of the bag violin back together. I've worked out what I've got to do. I'm just finishing putting some dry soap on the mould here. I've covered it in cling film so that it protects the wood, and I'm just covering it really well with dry soap so that any glue won't stick to it. So that should be plenty on there. I've decided not to use the hide glue that I usually use because it will just dry so quickly. It's going to just be a disaster trying to get these back together. Because this is the bag violin, I've decided that I'm going to use some wood glue, because I do not want this joint to ever come apart again. So the wood glue will make a really strong bond that you could get apart if you needed to with water, but actually should mean that this violin back won't come apart again. So I've decided to do that, and the added bonus of it is that I'll have a lot longer gluing time, and this is going to be quite complicated. I've thought about doing it in 2 halves, but I'm just going to go for it and do it all in one. So I've got my clamps laid out, I've got the back, I've got the mould, I've soaked everything, so I think I'm just going to go for it and we'll just see what happens. So I've got the glue in here. I'm going to water it down slightly because it's a little bit thick. That's quite a nice consistency there. So I'm just going to bite the bullet and go for it, and let's see what happens. I've had a couple of dry runs, so now is the time. It's all back together. I'm just going to keep checking it as it dries, keep checking that the centre joint is flat and level all the way down. I'm just going to check along the joint with a ruler just to see if it's level, and actually some of these clamps that are just helping keep the 2 sides level aren't quite tight enough. So I'm just going to go along, double check, keep tweaking it as it dries just to check I'm happy with the joint, and then that's the back all together again. Okay, it's the moment of truth. The glue should have had time to dry. I'm going to take the clamps off and keep everything crossed that the back centre joint is now all back together perfectly. Yep, it's worked. I think the joint's gone okay. Probably could have been better in some areas, but actually on the whole that's not bad. The next job to do is going to be to add some studs all down that centre line so that it really is not going to come apart again.